this is the Dark Match for the third WrestleMania show. I am the Revolver Man.
Hey, I'm Christopher Says Dark Match's Mastodon of the Monotone as usual.
I'm Teefus, and I got a mouthful of roast beef.
I'm Jingus, and it's time for our absolute favorite part of this show. What is Iron Sheik tweeting now? The happy Passover to everybody that wants to see Sheiky beat the living fuck out of the Mexican Jose Canseco and the German Mel Gibson.
What?
I'd pay for it.
Yeah, apparently Mel Gibson's a German now.
God,
German Australian.
So, well, I guess that pretty much reveals how Sheik feels about Germans in general.
He never got over World War II.
I don't know.
So many intelligent Jews slaughtered.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh,
Wow.
great. Now we have the first Holocaust joke on Dark Match.
Oh, that can't be the first.
Well, we're starting
No.
early. Anyone want to get a Benoit joke out of the way while we're on it?
It's been done.
I just cracked a good Benoit joke the other day, and unfortunately it's a visual aid thing, so.
Yeah, well, that's up to editing.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to think of a way to segue from Benoit to WrestleMania, but nothing remotely appropriate comes to mind. So, hey, it's the WrestleMania show.
Hey, remember 8 years ago when Lance Storm won the title from Triple H and Shawn Michaels in that triple threat match?
And then he hugged Eddie Guerrero. I don't know why. They never interacted with each other.
No, it was Chavo Guerrero.
Oh.
Yeah. Good times. Anyway, WrestleMania. Did anybody even bother to watch the Dark Match? Not
I
our
watched
show.
the
I know
last
nobody
5 or
watches
so
this.
minutes of it, and yeah, the last 5 or so minutes of it, and it looked impressive. Like they were doing a bunch of like fun spots to sort of get the crowd going. Yeah, really not much more to say about it, especially because like Epico and Primo just retained, so I don't really not much to say about the tag team division in general.
I was surprised that they decided to give Tyson Kidd the WrestleMania payday, but hey, that's good.
Well, I don't
He's
know
not
if
bad.
it technically counts because he's not on the show per se. It's not on the pay-per-view.
I think they give then those 30 person battle royals they have as the Dark Match wouldn't make any sense to do because those are usually just excuses to get people their WrestleMania payday.
They might get a percentage of the live gate, but I don't think they get a piece of the pay-per-view.
They get DVD royalties, too.
Yeah, that. So they get, they get some extra. They get paid all right. It's better than any other day they work.
Yeah, so it's still the payday. It might not be the payday, but it's still more money.
It might not
And when
be
I say a percentage of the live gate, I mean like 0.01%, if that.
That's still about 1,500.
They might get a nice C note for their contributions.
Yep.
Especially considering that apparently this was by far the most hot pay-per-view in WWE history.
Well, back when they had
early rumor. We'll see about that.
Well, back when they had WrestleMania in Vegas, everyone got a free coupon to the seafood buffet.
Anyway, so yeah, after the Dark Match, we have the official start off to WrestleMania, and it's a title match, and it's the world title match.
You know, I came in a little late to the show, so I missed this, and I'm glad. Because if I'd actually seen this, it's a 50-50. I might have just turned around and left right then and there.
You know, for me, I hear a lot of people bitching about, oh, they put the world title match first. It's burying the title. Blah blah blah. Like,
that's fine.
No, not really.
Every year.
Hey, yeah, everyone fucking expected them to do that.
There is no.
But whether you expect it to or not, it doesn't make a difference on whether or not it's a burial. It's not a burial of the title. It's not a burial of those guys to be the opening slot.
I have to ask this. Sorry to interrupt you, Teefus, but is any match on WrestleMania called a burial match? That's just such a stupid thing to say.
Well, there's that aspect of it too. I mean,
yeah,
there's definitely situations where you don't want to put a match in a certain spot, but it's more in relation to other matches on the card, like back.
Yeah, that's pacing. That's
yeah, exactly, and that's what it is. So we got 8 matches. 4 of them are main events. You got to spread them out.
Also, the way just modern wrestling is presented, it's changed some things that some people don't realize have changed. Because in old school wrestling philosophy, And this is dating back to where TV was nothing but a commercial for the house show, more or less. It's like nobody wants to be first because the first match is meaningless because the people are still fucking getting there and they're still in the bathroom and still buying popcorn. And so they'll just throw a couple of random jabronis out first because they just want something to warm the crowd up, the half of them that are already sitting in their seats.
That's like your 15-minute warning to start getting to your seat.
Yeah, in modern televised and pay-per-view wrestling, it doesn't work like that. I mean, the first match means more something because it kind of helps set the tone of the show.
Yeah.
I mean, why Triple H didn't do all those 20-minute promos every fucking week for 10 years right at the beginning of the show because that was the shit spot, you know?
If only that was the shit spot.
Yeah, well, it became such, but
well, no, and
beside the point.
You got a good point there, because just a few weeks ago when I went to the SmackDown tapings, the opening match that you described, that was DarkMatch, it wasn't on Superstars, it wasn't recorded for NXT or anything, was a Brodus Clay squash match on some guy.
Yeah. And that worked as more of a get-to-your-seat kind of warning match.
Yeah. But once the cameras start rolling, the curtain jerker match, for all intents and purposes, has already occurred. But what you got there is you're starting to show that people came to see. You want to lead with something strong. You want to lead with strong guys. The problem is, it's WrestleMania. It's a world title match. Don't do what you did.
Yeah, that.
What they did is
just in case, we should tell people, just in case somehow you've been living under several different interlocking rocks. What happened here was it's Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus for the SmackDown title.
Did you just say
Daniel Von Bryan?
Daniel Von Bryan, that should be his gimmick.
Yes, that is awesome.
The Wagner.
But that was a complete fuck up on my part, but I made it better anyway.
Hey, you're just like Jim Ross.
Funny you say that.
But anyway, so this match, basically, by the time that we were arguing whether it was good enough to go on first or not, the match was already over.
Yes.
Yeah.
18 seconds, kick, wham, pin.
I don't think there's any argument that it was the two guys in the match were good enough to open the show and really capture people's attention.
No, these two guys, Bryan's great. Sheamus is good. They would have a really good match together if they were given any length of time.
The thing is,
well, last year they did have a great match, and it was supposed to be on the broadcast, but it got bumped to the DarkMatch.
Whoopsie. Well, they moved up a spot.
Well, the thing is that what I've been, a lot of people saying, oh, this is burying Bryan, but do you remember Sheamus's problems with Kevin Dunn? I think this is not such a dig at Sheamus as it was Bryan.
I don't know, because I mean, at least Sheamus was the guy who won. But yeah, it makes both of them look like chumps, for Bryan for getting beaten so easily, and also Sheamus just for not doing anything else, because he basically took advantage, took one cheap shot.
Yeah, that was a heel tactic. That was a total heel tactic.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just a cheap win. Independent of heel or face or anything, it was just like, that's a match?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I think it might have had the accidental effect of getting Bryan way more over, just from the crowd reaction that we've seen on Raw and SmackDown to him. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's like the good effect this has had is it's actually kind of cemented him as this sleazy, self-absorbed heel.
Yeah, well, he's kind of a martyr now, because the audience can tell, all right, I mean, a large section, not just the newsletter readers or dirt sheet readers of the audience can tell, wait a minute, that was some bullshit. That wasn't right. That guy deserved better than that.
Yeah.
And they reacted.
This isn't the 80s. This isn't where Honky Tonk Man could go out and have Ultimate Warrior squash him in 8 seconds and people believe it.
Now, I will say this. I'm not opposed to seeing a title match, not necessarily a world title match, on any other show other than the biggest show of the year happen like that, if it's built up in a similar way. But a world title match, especially on WrestleMania, that's just not right.
Well,
especially when it's the best wrestler on the show getting beaten like that.
Yeah.
Well, going back, the example I just cited, Honky Tonk Man versus Ultimate Warrior at SummerSlam 87, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
88, yeah.
88, thank you. That was perfect because, A, you had two wrestlers that really couldn't go 20 minutes. I mean, Honky Tonk Man might, honestly, take that back. But Warrior sure couldn't.
Yeah, and I mean,
and Warrior style is that.
Well, if 14 of those 20 minutes was shaking the ropes and yelling,
and also it was built way up by the fact that all of the fans hated Honky Tonk Man. I mean, there was nobody cheering that guy. And B, he'd held the title for a year and a half. That was the entire point of it.
Yeah, so it was appropriate that he lost it like that.
And on that note, like regarding the buildup of this match, I've heard many arguments that are like, I'm really disappointed to see such a short match. They should have gone longer. They could have gone longer. They would have been good to go longer. But from the buildup, it made sense.
It did.
And I disagree. The match that would have been good to have been this short, that they built it up that way, was
we'll get
2
to
matches
that one later. Yeah.
Like, and the fact of the matter is, like, you see beforehand, before this pay-per-view, Daniel Bryan in matches, tag team matches, I think there were 2 separate ones, him and maybe Jericho against Punk and Sheamus, where they were just like having a bout. Like there was, you couldn't say that they built up to Daniel Bryan just completely ducking him, because that wasn't the fact.
Running, no physical contact ever. That would be one thing.
Yeah.
But no, this was 2 wrestlers and sucker punch. Haha, gotcha.
It was
I didn't have a.
And it was about as entertaining and infuriating as the movie Sucker Punch.
It was the equivalent of a roll up, really, wasn't it?
Oh, we'll get to that. Started yet.
Anyway, so yeah. Needless to say, WrestleMania started off on a sour note for us.
Yeah, I mean, I walked in like 6:15 or thereauts. Like, look at the screen. I'm like, oh, they're still doing the pre-show stuff? Like, no, the first match is already over. They told me, and it's like, you guys are kidding, right? Yeah, I didn't watch this on a stream. I paid $5 to a guy who actually bought it. Well, I owe him $5. But anyway.
That's DarkMatch, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll get it to him sometime. But he paid for it. And we watched it on both his mid-sized TV and his small computer monitor at the same time. You can purchase these online, apparently.
Oh, yeah. That's really big on WWE Night now. They like the online purchases because that's it cuts out the middleman that is the cable companies.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so after that...
and they charge just as much for it.
Yeah, funny how that works.
Mm.
Anyway, so after that, we get a promo of... this is a fucking Survivor Series match.
John Laurinaitis, Vice President of Talent Relations.
Yeah,
it should have been a Survivor Series match, in my opinion. If they're going to take off so much time, they could have at least made it elimination.
Oh, agree.
The stakes higher, but
it kind of doesn't help that before I got on to do this show, I watched about 30 minutes of Jim Cornette shooting on John Laurinaitis.
Well, I've showed these guys some of his Japanese matches. They're hilarious. It's like Kenta Kobashi, Stan Hansen, Jun Akiyama, and this clumsy white guy.
I mean, it's hilarious to see how much he fucked him over in OVW and John Laurinaitis would just take his guys or send guys down with no warning whatsoever.
Yeah. By the way, we want all 5 of your top guys. I mean, 5 of your very top guys. Heels and baby faces in various promos, and we're just taking all of them. They're going to be male cheerleaders.
WWE. But yeah, so we get that promo, and then they're apparently WWE's giving away trips to WrestleMania 29.
Okay. I may buy a ticket pending the card.
Well, the rumors are true. It's going to be a shit card, in my opinion. But that's for next year. Anyway, This is now. It's Kane versus Randy Orton in the oh crap, we got to get Randy Orton into WrestleMania match.
Right. Yeah, this is the oh shit, we forgot to don't we have Orton booked in it? God damn it.
Well, no, they probably told him quite a lot to fluff his confidence because according to Randy Orton is the 4th main event. But with the way the opening match went, I would believe him.
Main event has kind of lost all meaning in this show.
Actually, in retrospect, it kind of makes what Randy Orton said very true.
Yeah, it does. I'm with you on that.
You know, but, as much as I don't care for Randy Orton, and it's been well documented, I didn't mind it.
I think I like Orton a little more than some people, and I like Kane a lot more than most people. It didn't feel like a WrestleMania match. Well, it did, but here, I'll expound on that. Some guys just never have their best matches at WrestleMania. Orton's one of them, and Kane is one of them. Because
it felt like a backlash match.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the time constraints or just the pressure of the giant crowd or what it is, but they go out there and they have an okay 2-star-ish match. When we know, I mean, remember that the street fight that Kane and Orton had a few months ago on SmackDown, the one where Orton fell through the table that's in Bob Doyle's gift that used to play on his.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's like, aside from that one bit, that was a really good match, and this one was nowhere near that. And I don't know if it was time constraints or what, but it only went less than 10 minutes. Let's see. Let me look this up. 11 minutes. It felt like less than that. Although I did like the finish, super chokeslam.
That's the other thing too. It's like,
although
they seem to intend to want to continue this feud, but they had Kane go over. They had the pursuer go over the pursuee.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. With either one of these guys, I think they're in a position where it doesn't matter if you beat either one of them, really. Yeah. But at this point.
Well, yeah, that also kind of makes you wonder why they have like a feud like this in the first place, because I don't even know what Kane's aim is. Like, if the embrace the hate stuff like only applied to John Cena, like as an answer to his T-shirt, and of course like Randy Orton's not the kind of person you try to implore to embrace the hate.
Embrace the hate, or I know you already care about.
They actually address that, and Orton straight up says like, not that I normally care, but I'm not exactly opposed to embracing the hate, so I'm going to call Kane out here right now and see what the hell he's doing this for.
Opposed to. Yeah, pretty much did say that.
Embrace the hate. I guess apparently, punting people's skulls off isn't hateful enough for Kane. Maybe he wants like a wingtip on Randy's boots or something.
Well, the thing is though, like Kane came out and he showed this clip of that just after that match that Jingus just referenced, where he and Kane shook each other's hands. And Kane is mad at himself for having done that, so he has to kill Orton now to gain redemption for ever shaking someone's hand.
Which I guess,
and if that feels like I'm making it up and I'm just spouting bullshit, that's exactly how I feel right now.
Honestly, I've always had a problem with embrace the hate thing. Maybe this is really inside and smarky or whatever you want to call it, but Kane's just too nice of a guy for me to take this crap seriously.
He always has been kind of like a cartoon version of a serial killer at times.
Well, pretty much after like the first 3 years of his run, maybe I'd say like at that point like he was still more or less threatening, but then it's like you kind of like he does enough turns where instead of being the full like serial killer, he just becomes this sort of the anti-hero monster.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I couldn't take serial killer Sane Kane seriously after the Canaanites promo he did a few years back.
Oh yeah. And it's the same, like, as an aside, it's the same with people like Abyss. Like, I don't think Abyss could ever go back to being like a legitimate monster.
We'll get to Abyss on Friday.
Yeah. You mean
far too humanized.
Anyway, so yeah, Kane wins with Super Chokeslam. I was quite surprised. I figured Kane had no chance, honestly.
Yeah, there were a lot of matches on this show where they went completely different than how I was expecting in terms of who won.
Well, hey Jingus, I mean, maybe they watched the match on SmackDown and were like, hey, they got to end this feud with a street fight. They did so well with it last time, so it's probably going to happen. Extreme Rules, Randy Orton.
Well, that makes sense, but
be kendo sticking each other aplenty.
Funny, but anyway, after that we get fucking Deadliest Warrior.
Deadliest
Catch.
Not
Deadliest Warrior.
Oh, Deadliest Warrior is a hell of a lot better than Deadliest Catch. Come on.
Oh yeah, I remember this segment. They were fooling around with like crustaceous like food and such, and I seem to remember going on Twitter, and the first person's tweet I saw was Steve Carino, who said I'd rather have crabs than watch this segment.
Very Carino thing to say.
Just pissed off thousands of committed young married couples the world over that have no lives.
Anyways, they have Ron
so
Simmons.
Santino and Mick Foley do funny stuff.
Anyways, they have Ron Simmons come out of fucking mothballs to say damn and end the segment.
No, he keep in mind he's Hall of Famer Ron Simmons now. That's where he came from.
Yeah, but I still think it's coming out of mothballs because how long has it been since he's gone on TV proper?
Well, they do that a lot on WrestleMania, though. They'll bring him out during one of the comedy segments.
Well, yeah, that's not unusual.
In fact, where was the usual comedy segment with Ted DiBiase Sr. and IRS and Ricky Steamboat and Sergeant?
Oh, yeah.
All those guys.
And Mae Young and
Arn Anderson.
Yeah, they'll never do that awesome one that they had.
Gene.
They never will ever redo that awesome one they did a few years back where all the freaks of WWE were all together.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Which one? There were a few. There was the one that turned into a dance party, and there was the one where everybody was freaking out Charmel. And
they had the one where Mae Young and Moolah are coming out of an empty room with
Bobby. I know what you're talking about. It was Gene and Heenan came out first.
Yeah.
And they were like just
really awkward.
Yeah, that was creepy and funny at the same time, and this was not funny at all.
I just still remember the one where Eugene's bouncing the basketball and DiBiase kicks it away.
Basketballs don't hold grudges.
Oh, God.
That one does.
The thing is, I actually did think this was kind of funny just because it showed Santino really knows how to sell really well. It's just the little things he does.
Oh, yeah. He's great at mannerisms.
Like
I was unaware that he had a Cobra Sacco. That was a shock to me to see that for the first time.
He's had that for a while. But what really got me was that when Ron Simmons came out and they all kind of stopped and were looking all sheepish, waiting for him to say damn. When he finally said it, Santino, like everyone flinched, but Santino freaked out so much he actually threw some crab legs across the room.
Yeah.
Well, I have to really give it to Santino. He really knows how to be. He kind of reminds me of Ricky Morton when Ricky Morton was part of the tag team, the Rock and Roll Express, I think their name was.
Yeah.
Because look at the Elimination Chamber match. He went from complete fucking nobody joke to the most over face during that show.
Well, he knows how to sell. I think he reminds me a little more of Mikey Whipwreck in some ways, but anyway.
I'd say he reminds me of Piper in that he serves his role perfectly and he doesn't need a title to get over.
Although he does have a title.
Yeah, but I mean, he can just walk. Well, Piper did at times too.
True.
But he can just walk onto any card, do his little job, whatever small job it is.
Yeah.
And people will not forget him.
Or if he's Roddy Piper, he'll shoot on him a little.
Oh, yeah.
Also, a little bit of Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Did you book my cousin's death, Russo? Oh.
Oh. Okay, we've hit up the Holocaust, Benoit, Owen. Anything left here? Want to talk about him putting Melanie Pillman on Raw while we're at it after?
Yeah.
Want to hit Katie Vick while we're there?
Yeah. Let's go to this Intercontinental title match between.
So that Brian Hildebrand, he sure had cancer, huh?
God damn it!
Oh, how about that Larry Zbyszko not dying at all?
Yeah, like I can't wait till Matt Capitelli possibly returns.
Oh well, we're kicked off the internet somehow. So
we would be the first.
We could never be kicked off the internet.
No, we're gonna get arrested in Arizona.
Then, like 29 seconds later, somehow we're deleted. Wait, owns the copyright to our theme music.
Anyways, yes, Big Show versus Cody Rhodes, and I'll let Chris take this away.
Well, yeah, Jingus and I pretty much had this geared up as like this match was pointlessly like a decent length. If nothing else, they should have switched. They should have switched the booking of this match around with Daniel Bryan and Sheamus.
Yeah,
because the build up for that actually made sense. Like the only time Cody Rhodes made real contact with Big Show was when he cuffed him. So.
Yeah, if they were going to start off, if they were just bound and determined to start off the show with a big surprise and a out of nowhere pin in the first match, they should have put this one first. Because it would have made... And I like Cody, and I think he's a good wrestler. I don't think they had a good match here together. I didn't think they had much chemistry.
Big Show's gimmick is that he's got the fucking super punch somehow.
Yeah, and Cody's entire gimmick was that he was humiliating the Big Show and showing that stupid video package that seemed to consist of the same 4 clips over and over again.
Yeah, not only that, but he wasn't defending his title. Like, it's all like the sort of pieces you have to put together the puzzle. Like,
yeah, he was, wasn't he? He was defending the Intercontinental belt.
He defended it like a couple of times against Booker T. Like it really was. It was.
I got you.
If you recall 2010 when Miz had the U.S. title before he lost it to Daniel Bryan, it was he barely ever defended. It was like that.
We got an echo, Teefus.
No, my bad.
Dark match, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, because you're right. Because Cody was the chicken shit champion, running away from people, infuriating them through video packages and shit. And Danielson, as much of a prick as he's been booked, he's still a fighting champion who goes out there and will try to kick some ass and usually take an axe kicking himself. Cody's a guy who runs away in terror from his opponents whenever they're not, completely taken by surprise.
Well, yeah,
this would be the one where just turn around, punch 1, 2, 3. And hopefully it would have been a better punch than the one we got, because it looked like the finish kind of whiffed.
I've seen great sellings at the WMD. I mean, I've seen guys sell it like they got hit with a freaking shotgun.
Heath Slater. Best fucking sell I've ever seen, where he just turned around and he had that really dumb look on his face. Oh, wait, just a straight face.
That was straight out of a fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon, where some guy just gets hit and you're waiting for the chickens to show up above the head.
It's like the frying pan to the face hit, basically.
Big Show has frying pan hands. Thank you, Taz.
Yeah. Yeah, I pretty much think
it's Ric Flair rocking the fist, and I'll just suddenly out of nowhere just falling over.
Yeah, pretty much. I think this was the worst real match on the show.
I beg to differ.
If you're calling the next one a real match, I don't know.
Well,
honestly, if we're gonna move on to Eve Torres and Beth Phoenix versus Kelly and Maria Menounos, then this is the match, in my opinion, like Cole versus Lawler, that was given more time than anyone really expected.
Oh my fucking god!
Way more time than needed.
What?
This
segment?
This was more time.
Don't care about female dignity. Fucking Maria Mendoza. Oh.
You don't even know her name.
Menounos.
Who the fuck?
Maria Menudo.
You know what I call her? Cunt.
No, you know what?
Oh,
you can't even get her name.
All right, we've got misogyny in here. You want to make any comments about the Jews while we're at
it? If you're gonna sit there and get her name wrong, you have no right to talk about disrespecting women. You don't. You just don't. I'm calling that card right now.
Well, very well, and I'm still gonna keep doing it. So
So we had our.
Don't go to Canada. They're sexist.
Why did she deserve this? Like, it's Vince. Vince is the cunt.
Our so-called...
Yeah, I like that. Vince is the cunt. I'm going to stay with that.
And everybody who put together this match and everybody who booked this All right, first of all, who the fuck is Maria Menounos?
She's on the show Extra. It's kind of like a very...
She's a celebrity news reporter.
Yeah, low-rate Entertainment Tonight.
I don't mean that as in she's a celebrity. I mean she just covers celebrity news.
Extra is basically proto TMZ.
And yeah, it's very PC, lighthearted TMZ.
Yeah, it's basically G-rated TMZ.
And I'm surprised that I'm making it sound like TMZ is some kind of renegade or whatever. I don't.
Who bought a new kitten? The shocking truth when we come back.
But also, and like, you can't really blame if this was clumsy. You can't really blame it on Maria because.
But wait, hang on. So basically, it's Entertainment Tonight, except not.
Except
it's Entertaining Tonight minus the entertainment, so it's just tonight.
I still have a question which hasn't been answered. Who the fuck is Maria Menounos?
She's one of the people that works on.
Yeah, and supposedly she's an actress and such. I'd never heard her name in my entire life.
The reason they're using her is because Extra's run on the network that usually airs the WWE's like tribute to the troops and WrestleMania and stuff like that.
NBC, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But still, that every other celebrity person they've had in a match is somebody really fucking famous. Somebody I immediately knew who it was.
To the point where
I groaned when I heard they were bringing in Snooki, but at least I knew who the fuck she was, and I knew that everybody else did too.
Yeah, and speaking of Snooki, like the length of this match, this was longer than both the Faces versus the Core and Snooki and the Faces versus Laycool and the Heels from last year combined.
This match went 7 damn minutes.
But like, I mean, you can't really take a lot away from Maria Menounos. She was working with broken ribs.
No, but so why then? Okay,
you're right.
You know what
right.
I think is
She's David Arquette in this situation.
You know
she
what
doesn't know any better.
No, you know what's really sad? Between Maria and Kelly, Maria was outperforming fucking Kelly.
She was outselling, that's for sure.
Out rope running her.
But
I mean, like,
come on, dude. A 3-year-old with Down syndrome could outrun the ropes. Kelly.
I mean,
I think I might legitimately run the ropes better than Kelly. And
the thing is, when you usually have these celebrity and wrestler versus wrestler groups, you have a wrestler that could hold their own to cover for that.
Yeah.
Kelly can't cover for anybody.
No, and just the way that this match was booked from moment to moment made no sense. Because, okay, we know going in that this is a non-wrestler who's never wrestled in a day in her life, has, to my knowledge, no athletic credentials or experience whatsoever.
She dances.
Yippee!
She used to be fat.
That's where she got her rib injuries, learning how to do the cha-cha for Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Great, she's a 10-cent Natalie Portman. But, so who decided that the celebrity with no experience, no street cred, and broken ribs, which they publicly made a point about, should not only go into the match, spend the majority of the time in the ring, take the longest heat segment from the heels, then almost very soon afterwards be back up waiting for Kelly to make the hot tag to Maria, and then go take the finish and pin the wrestler?
I don't know, but I kind of want to see
I picture Jim Cornette burning down his house in rage after that match.
I'm still stuck on the image of Fat Natalie Portman and all the things I would do to her.
The finish was Maria pinning Beth Glamazon Phoenix with a fucking roll-up!
Fat Natalie Portman.
Yes, I know. I would violate her in ways which even on the internet you're not allowed to say, but that's beside the point.
I'd give her a hoagie afterwards.
In this match, and first of all, why pin Beth instead of Eve?
Yeah, that's what
I don't know.
I mean, Maria is approximately the size of Beth's leg.
Because Eve has a role later in the show.
Yeah, which makes even less sense because she's a complete heel here. But we'll get to how that makes no sense later. But still, I mean, and why is Eve here? Why not just say, okay, Natalya, we're just going to pretend that fart thing never happened, go wrestle, and make this look halfway decent?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Beth Phoenix, like...
And the gimmick's right there, since they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, one segment on SmackDown is all it would take. Beth going up to Natty, and Natty's like, you feeling better? And Natty's like, yeah, I took some Pepto. I'm okay now.
Well, the thing is, even
then they're like, no, there's this bimbo celebrity. You want to go kill her? Sure.
Like, the thing is like, even the markiest mark in the crowd could see Beth could eat all 3 other women without a problem.
Yeah.
So, having her get...
And also, why the
calories,
fuck
though, man?
Why the fuck wasn't it Chelsea Handler?
Hey, plastic doesn't have calories.
Bullshit, it doesn't.
And Maria couldn't do anything out there. I mean, I don't expect a non-wrestler to be able to do much, but at least Snooki had her 2 spots that were kind of cool that she could do. Maria did nothing but sit around and bear hugs and then get the roll-up win.
WWE, ladies and gentlemen,
fucking
you know what?
awful.
Even with fucking what's going on in TNA, somehow their women's division is still better.
Yeah. It hurts me to say, but yeah, TNA in this area completely outclasses WWE.
They do.
And
it still sucks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let me put it this way. This was the worst Divas match they've had at WrestleMania in years. I stand by that.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't really add anything to that.
There's nothing to add right there.
Yeah,
greener pastures, fellas. Greener pastures.
You got to go back to like Bunny Mania to find something on the equally shitty level as this, and even that might have not been. At least that had like Snoop Dogg clotheslining Santino. This had jack shit.
Yep. Anyway, next segment we got backstage with Matt Stryker trying to talk to Shawn Michaels, and
how the hell does Matt Stryker still have a job?
It's the GOAT Pictures Vince thing. You see, he sometimes Xeroxes them to send them to people in his group that likes that shit. But sometimes they get
sitting
intercepted.
on some years.
Yeah.
Actually, Funaki's in with the Texas clique. He's friends with Shawn and Austin and Undertaker. But anyway.
But yeah,
that's the thing I'll never understand. Like, Funaki is apparently a freaking Texan now. Like, legitimately.
Well, look at Jimmy Wan Yang.
Yeah, exactly. He's Georgian.
But anyway, like all this segment does is have Shawn saying he's got the power to win an era, and then
Here's what I was hoping
for.
This is kind of fantasy booking, but I was kind of hoping that Shawn would be in the back, like getting ready, and then he'd run into Brett, and Brett just wanted to see that he'd call this down the middle, knowing his history, and Brett would look him in the eye and say, "I trust you," and they shake hands, and that's it. I think that would have been a really good promo.
Not even say anything, just shaking his hand and goes.
Well, I mean, it would kind of be an
just say you're like, you know what to do, man.
Yeah, exactly. It would make people think that Brett was coming out in the match.
Right.
Yeah, it would be a bit too random Bret Hart because there's no like.
Well, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are so tied together. I don't think anything involving Shawn could be a random Bret Hart.
Okay, right. So for each week in the last month, have a different Attitude Era megastar come out and just kind of eyeball each of them and say something real quick and win.
Yeah.
Austin, Bret Hart, Mankind.
Yeah, they could have had Mick say something. They've had him around anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that seemed like a really good way to really put over Shawn. Like, just have Bret say, you can do this, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Or have Ken come out and just start laughing manically and then say, "I'm sorry, I just love how much you all hate to lose," and just walk off.
Oh, that was
what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
So we get
fly Jeff Jarrett in from Ring Ka King and just be like, Double J, shut the fuck up.
Stop with your sci-fi fanfic.
So, anyways, we get a bit of a treat.
Sting, what?
Not only is the next match Triple H versus The Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell, we get an extra treat on top of that, Jingus.
Evil Jim Ross. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. The announcing for most of the show was, he was just kind of there. Good enough. I mean, not great, not awful, just there. Generic enough. Michael Cole, which is a compliment to Michael Cole these days, sadly. He was not doing his annoying as fuck heel shtick for the majority of the show.
Well, dragging the show.
He tones it down. He kind of keeps it subtle these days.
Yeah,
but Jim Ross came back out for this one match, and he's like, fuck, why don't they use this guy more?
The only reason they used him here is because Undertaker specifically requested it. So
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, WWE has two of the best all-time play-by-play announcers on permanent payroll with Jim Ross and Joey Styles. And on every television show and pay-per-view, they insist on sticking with one of the worst all-time play-by-play guys.
You know what? I honestly think that Booker T is getting worse than Cole, in my opinion.
I just think you guys don't know what you're talking about when it comes to commentary. Clearly, you guys have it wrong, and they have it right. Honestly, I mean, let's face facts here.
Honestly.
Who's got the billions of dollars? Who built an industry up from nothing? Come on now. Are you really going to second guess this guy? I don't think so.
Anytime you talk about anything Vince ever does.
Yeah, he's the guy that couldn't run a football league in fucking the United States.
Hey. He ran it. No one wanted to watch it. That's not his fault. That is not his fault. He delivered a good product, just no one cared about it because, the market saturation and Chinese buy rates and I got nothing.
Can we just go on and
no? Love Cole.
We have this match. We have a Mirror Dimension Jim Ross come out. We have Shawn Michaels come out, and then Backlash went over the whole thing about it. I'll add to that basically for one night, Shawn Michaels' God manifested as his pyro because all I could see as he came out was a spotlight.
Oh God!
And,
that fucking
I heard explosions go off, but you didn't.
I loved that angle. That was hilarious.
No, yeah, those scenes of Vince going to church with his son.
Yeah,
that was
cash
beautiful.
only. What kind of business are they running here?
Taking a mouthful of water and going, "Hey, guess who I am?"
What I love most about that was one thing that Shane did that was really subtle, but I loved, is that when he went, if God...
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
If God is going to, he can strike me down. And Shane, like, takes 3 steps away.
He just, like, looks around and, like, calmly takes 1 step back.
Oh, yeah, Shane was a wonderful
because every time Vince did something over the top, he's like, Dad, Jesus Christ, stop it. Or, like, he always introduced him as the product of his semen. He's just like,
By the time we talked about where he knocked boots with Mae Young at Moolah's funeral, he's just like, I just wanted to knock the dust off, and Shane just throws his hands up like, I don't want to hear it.
I miss Shane. He was hilarious. It's a shame that he decided that wrestling wasn't for him, or that. Well, the rumor always has been that he was pissed that Triple H kind of got chosen over him to take over, and I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, he got a little bit Hamleted there.
But
at the same time, when it comes to business versus performing, he was always the performer of the 2 kids.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
as opposed
look
to
at Stephanie
H
McMahon's writing and say who was the best of the 2.
Anyway, why are we stalling on this match? Because we've actually got good stuff to talk about.
Well,
I want to talk about Stephanie McMahon and her perfectly toned abs and ass.
That's because we're reminiscing about when WWE was better, and this is like a beacon of what that was, Jingus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is like, if you were around like 12 years ago, you'd be seeing this nearly regular basis. Now,
all I'm saying is I just would like one day where I am Stephanie's thigh master.
Oh my fucking!
I'd rather be her dildo. I don't know.
Oh!
Just saying.
Shit, dude, I would pay her to friend zone me. Okay.
Oh God! You know what? I expect this.
As long as we're going there, why half-ass it? Why not just say it?
I would expect this from Jingus, but not you, Teefus.
Oh, really?
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 Riley!
Randy!
Jimmy! Randy!
I like that segment, damn it.
Oh, Backlash is going to hate us. This show's not getting on the air. It is so not getting on the air.
Yeah, well, plus we're going to miss the entirety of SmackDown at the rate we're
And now 3 tangents about my bodily functions.
Yeah, we're not going to edit anything. We're just give it to him and say, take out what you want.
We edited it for you. Just throw it up there.
He doesn't need to edit it. It's WrestleMania.
Cheek tweet, and what gets more screen time than Daniel Bryan? What the hell?
No, he doesn't.
So, going back to WrestleMania, you might have forgotten what the show was about, viewers and listeners. I was kind of surprised this wasn't last on the card, because they've been doing Undertaker's matches last on the card a lot recently. Well, as recently as you can.
Yeah, but they didn't have Roxana.
That's true. They've been booking that match for a year, which is probably the longest burn they've ever done in WWE.
In recent times, yeah. I mean, back in the old Hulkamania days, they would sometimes do a year-long chase, but...
And also, if the cage broke apart, they didn't want people trying to steal parts of it and running off as souvenirs. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
And what is with the cage being a hell of a lot taller than it used to be in the old days?
That's so that there's the guarantee that they won't try to do anything like.
They don't want
that's my opinion.
Because I think it was. I think it involved Mick Foley, but I'm not sure. He was getting power bombed or something, and it was just really hard for him not to hit his head on top of the cage.
I guess that makes sense. The cage was pretty low to the ground in the first Hell in the Cells.
Oh, it's still like 20 feet tall, but once you're standing in the ring,
especially on top of the ring, which is about a few extra feet added.
Or you're getting up on a ring post, or someone's got you up on their shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there by the ceiling.
Anybody see that one War Games with Sid and Brian Pillman?
Yeah.
That didn't go well.
Well, I could have sworn there was a spot where a guy was about to be powerbombed, but he grabbed the roof of the cage and saved himself that way.
That sounds like a very Rob Van Dam kind of thing to do.
I swear I've seen that somewhere. I don't know if it was WWE, WCW.
Yeah, I've seen it too. I'm not sure if it was in a cell, because even before, that was an awfully tall roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyways, Hell in the Cell, Triple H, Undertaker, and it actually feels like a Hell in the Cell match.
This was actually my
Until
match.
Afterwards, when you realize, hey, they barely touched that fucking cell.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't even care about that. It's just the psychology of it all.
Yeah, here's the greatest example of one of the worst Hells in the Cells I've seen. Sheamus versus Randy Orton for the title at Hell in the Cell.
You're exactly right.
Forgetting Undertaker Boss Man?
You know what? At least that actually looked like the Hell in the Cell mattered. The Hell in the Cell in that Hell in the Cell match with Sheamus and Randy Orton was a complete non-factor.
And speaking of Boss Man, I wish they had shown footage of him being asphyxiated from the Hell in a Cell.
Oh, that's
as part of the video packages to hype up the match.
Speaking of talentless bullshit.
What? I thought
no, not talentless. I didn't mean to. That sounds like I'm knocking Boss Man. My words were wrong. Excuse me. Tasteless bullshit.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I thought you liked Boss Man.
Well, as he got older, not so much. But
well, that's because
in the day he was really good.
Well, he was fucking dying too.
Back before he switched over to the SWAT gear.
Yeah, once he became SWAT gear Boss Man, he just kind of. I mean, he could do the wandering around hitting each other with aluminum hardcore matches, but that was about it. Sigh.
Yeah.
One of the first things I want to talk about, before we get to the psychology of the match, is that Undertaker pulls off his hood to reveal that he looks like Bruce Willis from Die Hard 3.
My immediate reaction, and I texted Duos and War Machine this. I'm not sure if they told you guys this. My immediate reactions were. I can't remember what the one was, but the first one was Samson has lost his power.
My reaction was, remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked just like this!
Oh my god! Thank you! I was trying that reminds me so much of something. Fucking Roger Rabbit!
I'm trying to remember what my other reaction was, because I had two of them.
A little bit of Travis Bickle in there from Taxi Driver.
Oh, fucking Roger. Thank you, Jingus. I was like, fuck, who is that? God damn, that looks just like some fucking psychotic from an old movie. Roger Rabbit, Judge Doom, thank you.
I had some other movie villain in mind, but I can't remember who it was right now, so I guess we'll just have to move on.
Anyway, so they go and they just fucking murderize each other. They beat the shit out of each other in this match.
Shawn pretty much, I mean, at the time, in retrospect, I think everything they did was for the better, and I thought that it was really funny. I thought that it was really poignant and everything. But when I was watching it, I thought that Shawn Michaels' overacting was pretty fucking hilarious, and it's not a takeoff on him. Every time I think when he super kicked Undertaker, and then Triple H gave him the pedigree, and then he pinned him and he kicked out. You see, Shawn Michaels in a corner cowering to himself, and he's like, no. These guys won't go down.
And every chair shot,
it was
Shawn
terrifying.
Cringes,
it was terrifying him.
They're just okay, you won't let us hit each other in the head.
Shawn does not cringe in a way that's ooh. He cringes like a girl when she sees a spider.
Yeah.
And it is fucking awesome.
And also, as good as this match was, the moment when I believe Undertaker's blinded, I forgot exactly what it was, and he just locks Shawn Michaels in the Hell's Gate like that. I thought that was funny. That was
just out of natural reaction.
Shawn Michaels is one of the greatest sellers, and it's not just moves. He fucking sells everything like a master.
Yeah.
Mm. Until he kips up. But besides that...
Yeah, they went outside the ring early on to get the standard, okay, we're in a cage kind of spots out where they're throwing each other into the steel and hitting each other with steps and stuff. But they quickly go back inside.
Yeah. And speaking of the steps, they did some shit with those. Spine buster onto that thing. Oh, dear Lord, that looked
wonderful.
Like it
Yeah,
sucked.
I'm surprised they didn't go for the fucking tombstone on there. Or the last ride.
Ooh.
Oh, no, not that kind of power bomb.
I don't think that Triple H would have taken it. Although Triple H did one thing I was not expecting to see out of him. For being such a bodybuilding freak, how often does Triple H ever actually use that strength to do anything impressive?
Yeah,
not often.
Yeah, you don't see him do like heavy power moves like presses or power bombs.
And considering he's like, what, 6'3", more than 250 pounds, big fucking guy, big fucking muscles. He doesn't really do power moves, but he did here. He was just, okay, he had a little help because the ring was acting kind of like a stepping stool. He couldn't have gotten Taker straight up off the mat like that.
Oh, yeah, wasn't it the Goga Plata to the...
Yeah, he was in the Hell's Gate, and he's just like, fuck you, and picked him up and power bombed him.
Yeah.
That was a thing of beauty, that spot.
And then he got him up for a tombstone, too.
So I just imagine him, like, listening to Rock and Cena calling their match and hearing, like, the one spot that leads into the finish of that match where Cena was showing his freaky caveman strength. You're like, God damn it. Can't let them steal the show. I gotta do something.
Well, you have seen those reports that says that the reason why Rock is so hated in the back is because Triple H is trying to poison everybody's mind because he's jealous.
Oh, no. Trips has not liked Rock for a long time. I mean, that's a barely held secret in the industry.
Yeah, but it's not to the extent where he's going to put that before business, though, anymore.
Well...
not to that extent. Not where he's going to sit there and create heat backstage on that level.
I think he would.
I think he'd relish in it, but I don't think he'd go out of his way to create it.
I think he would.
Yeah.
Like, it's no secret that I might not like Randy Orton as a wrestler, but I don't like Triple H.
Yes, you've mentioned that a few times already tonight. Please.
Favorite topic of yours, really.
Let's drop kayfabe, though, Revolver Man, and tell us how you really feel.
I actually don't mind Randy Orton outside of the ring, but Triple H is one person I don't want to see associated with wrestling.
Yeah, anyway.
I disagree entirely with you, but okay.
Yeah, we don't have the time to disagree because
I have plenty of time to disagree, good sir.
Anyway,
back to the match, they start doing they do some of the usual kind of Undertaker at WrestleMania stuff that's become formula in the past few years, aka they kick out of a Ring of Honor level of finishers. But since this is the only time that ever happens in this company, it makes a lot more sense.
And especially in a match that has like a 20-year history to it.
Yeah.
Where it's like the only match on the card.
Every fucking night.
It really is the only match on the card where the finish is what really matters.
Yeah.
Agreed. Like, it's kind of like, how when WWE would do when they used to really do a lot of hardcore matches, how anything would be like, it would just be a minor slowdown for anybody in a hardcore match, but if like someone hit something with a chair in any other match, it'd basically be like a gun.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of reminded me of when it came to the finishers. I mean, in WWE, there's a reason why they're called finishers in WWE.
Yeah,
because 90% of the time it's the finish.
So
when you hit it once.
Exactly. So, like, this is a great match for the kick out of finishers, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the group of people I was watching with, this was by far the most over match of the night, and they were just flinching at the fucking near falls. You could just see the match getting these guys, and it was awesome.
Well, it's probably another great thing is that you legitimately had no idea who was going to win.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
I knew from the second they announced this thing that Triple H wasn't pinning Undertaker.
No way in hell.
No chance in hell, you mean?
Oh, there's that too. But no, I mean,
pants. That's what I got. Dun, dun, dun.
You look at the longest standing guys in that company that were actually a part of the locker room and major players in the locker room. You got Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kane, Big Show. You could talk to any of them, and any of them I think would tell you. William Regal too. You throw him on the list. Booker T maybe even. And they'll tell you if anyone but an upper mid Carter or maybe even Daniel Bryan pins Undertaker, it's a waste of a pin.
Agreed.
Yeah, because it's got to be somebody that the audience would believe pinning Undertaker, because otherwise they would just... Remember when Cena made Triple H tap out at WrestleMania 22, and the crowd's basic reaction was, "What the fuck was that shit?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the most out of nowhere finishes in WrestleMania history. Some people were saying that Cena was going to win that match, but nobody was saying Cena by submission.
Yeah, because he just started using that hold and hadn't used it much. And I loved it. Immediately after the bell rings, it cuts to the crowd, and the guy in the middle of the camera shot is just holding his arms up like, "What the hell, bro?"
Well, that was kind of that was the start of the Super Cena hatred, and a lot of people were actually cheering Triple H to just get rid of Cena for a little bit. So when he lost to submission, a lot of people got angry.
He'd already been getting booed some before that when he had his feuds with Jericho and Angle, but that was what really cemented the entire "it's cool to boo Cena the fuck out of the building" trend, was that night.
Yeah, which is nonetheless really running
and
towards.
Hey, it's against Triple H.
Yeah,
that worked.
And that's the thing. It's like, Triple H is just at a point where he doesn't need to win.
Ever.
He doesn't.
No.
And he knows that. His time in the ring is done. He's definitely more interested in shifting into behind the scenes stuff and managing and creating the shows.
And COO and
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely to a point where he understands that it's time for him to step out of the way. As much as he might not want to or might miss being part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the way it is.
Anyway, and back to the match. I'm sorry, go ahead, you finish.
I was just about to say that we'll see, because I think this is going to be the match that leads Triple H to becoming the serious on-air personality in the next few years. And I think it depends on whether or not we're going to get 20-minute Triple H promos at the beginning of every show.
God, no.
I really cringe whenever they make a guy that is a high-profile fixture in the ring and switch him into a business role, a boss role, because it's really hard for me to sit there and imagine any of those guys not saying, "You know what, fuck you, you don't like it, I'm going to beat the shit out of you."
Well, yeah,
except Regal.
Yeah, Regal. Well, I perennial main eventer, Jingus.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not that Regal wasn't qualified to be a perennial main eventer.
Regal was a GM twice in two different eras.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Regal. The funny thing about Regal is that out of all the guys that ever had boss positions, Regal was probably the guy who could legitimately kick the fuck out of somebody in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Most likely, yeah.
Oh, Regal versus Triple H in an actual fight? No fucking contest. England wins World War III.
But, we see them try to do it all the time. With Hogan's probably the most notorious example. Austin, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels being a fucking commissioner.
Yeah,
Mick Foley. Actually, Mick Foley was kind of believable.
Yeah, Mick was a comedy character.
Awesome. Like
anytime the serious top guy makes himself the champion, it's like they always act like the super dominant badass who is like, "I could fire you or kick your ass or both," but somehow they book themselves into, in old Final Fantasy games sometimes when the villain is like doing villainous shit and the heroes should really stop him, but they just stand around and go, "Oh my God, what is he doing? No, Kefka, don't push those statues."
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 4, where Kovalev steals the crystal while they just...
Yes, when he turns into the hand and just crawls, takes 5 minutes crawling around, and all the characters are standing there like slack-jawed yokels just letting it happen. That's what happens anytime the heels get the better of the badass GM. It just doesn't feel believable.
Or it's like when in Austin Powers when they're on the steamroller and the guy's like, "No!"
Or the episode of South Park a couple of weeks ago. Oh, Long Johnson! Oh, Long Johnson!
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh no, the train! I haven't gotten the picture yet. I haven't gotten it.
Oh, but yeah, you're exactly right, Jingus. I mean, like, these super badass, like, Stone Cold. Stone Cold spent the better part of the late 90s and early 2000s literally obliterating everybody in his path. Becomes a GM, I don't know.
He rides around on his four-wheeler.
That's fucking
And the thing is, if they just make it so like that character is just committed to the boss role now, and he's just like, I don't even need to kick your ass anymore. These other people will do it. That kind of thing.
I have people to do that.
Yeah, just as heel boss as that might be, even a face boss could do that. You could sit there and say that to someone trying to goad them into a fight and look unprofessional and everything.
Well, the face
the minute someone starts goading someone into a fight, the minute someone starts trying to, like CM Punk antagonizing Triple H, Kevin Nash antagonizing Triple H, or the minute they put that stipulation like, if you lay a hand on so and so or so and so, you're fired, you lose your job, and with like they did with Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
You just know it's on borrowed time. It's just like, God, just pull the trigger already.
Well, for the face thing, for that to really work, they'd have to present him as like really respects the chain of command or something, despite the fact he could. He's like, no, that's not my job anymore. I have.
So you're saying you want to see John Cena as the Raw GM?
No, I'd be like, I have more important things to do than beating you up. Like, I have to manage this great show or something like that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they always try to say that.
Here's a wacky thought. How about no authority figures? Wrestling got along great with that for 100 years.
Well, they always had Jack Tunney until the late 90s.
Well, he showed up, what, once a year?
Well, again, you also associate the '90s boom with not just Stone Cold, but his antagonist in Vince McMahon. So
I know.
But what would anyone over 55 do in TNA, Jingus? What would they do?
They'd probably win the fucking belt.
The other half of their job.
Anyway, let's get back to the fucking match. There's a few points I just want to point out quickly that I'm marked out for. First of all, some of the stuff they did with the sledgehammer. I mean, in this match, they made you respect the hammer. They made a big deal out of it. And like the one part when
Triple H went to swing that thing for real,
stomp him with the hammer, and Shawn's like, "Oh God, no!" and snatches it. Like
he was about to legit swing that thing down on Undertaker's neck.
Yeah. I mean, he had Taker basically in curb stomp position, more or less.
If it had been anyone else but Shawn in there, they would not have done that move because no one else was that dependable to hit their mark.
Yeah, he wouldn't have trusted anybody else to do that.
As a lighthearted aside,
I could see them having Eddie Guerrero in that role, but
Eddie was good at grabbing gimmicks like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And as a lighthearted aside, like, does anyone notice that whenever Triple H tries to dramatically say "Stay down" to the Undertaker, he sounds kind of like the Blue Blood.
Yeah.
Like he almost sounds like he's saying it with that kind of like intonation.
Just
like,
stay down. You're not worthy to get back up.
But it sounds like
I sound like Vegeta.
Stay down. You're not worthy to get back up.
What are you doing?
If they ever put Triple H back in the serious boss role, I would love to have like his office outfitted with some Blue Blood stuff, just as a reference to that.
Yeah, just put a cravat on him.
Yeah, put like a plate of fine dishes on the side or something.
Some fine china, a plate of caviar, a quill.
Just like completely out of fucking nowhere, like Triple H is like listening to like Mozart or something.
Have a little.
Somebody knocks on the door and he's like, "Oh, hold on a minute." He turns it to Motorhead.
have a little stand there with some like riding gear on it, like the little black hat and the riding boots.
Anyway, but God, we're breaking the tangent counter. We got to get this show going. But more hammer stuff I like. The part where he was in the go-go platter and he tries to redo the spot from last year where he picks up the hammer and nails him with it, but this time he just kind of collapses.
Yeah.
Then when Taker comes and steps on the hammer when he's reaching for it,
he's just like, no.
and it's just like this, oh god, this is gonna suck look on Triple H's face at that point. And finally, when Undertaker just picks it up, and I think this is why they had to sell there, because the way he hurled this thing like Thor throwing Mjolnir. I mean,
Yeah.
he tossed it would have got into the 27th row if they didn't have that cage.
Jesus Christ.
Did it just
Someone used to do shot put in high school.
Yeah.
Hammer throw.
Yes.
Yeah, and what would anyone in the crowd if it went through one of those camera holes?
Oh my god.
That would have been deadly, yeah.
Yeah, but someone would have gotten an awesome souvenir.
In the words of Don Callis, major lawsuit coming here.
Wait, no.
It did literally remove my child's head from its body, but hey, free hammer.
I don't know. The other thing I like is how much they just ran the chairs into the ground with this.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it's everything.
The bruising, the immediate bruising on Undertaker.
Yeah, because they were knocking the fuck out of each other. This is like, well, damn it, if we're not allowed to hit each other in the head and cause brain damage, then we'll find another way to make it brutal.
I mean, talk about a school of guys that know when to turn it up.
Year, so, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, some people decry the no blood on WWE, and sometimes they're right, but when they actually do it...
By the way, how about Triple H's little sneaky phantom gig job there? I do not think that was Hardway.
No.
I think he was trying to make everyone think it was Hardway, but...
Hey, you know what, though? Some guys are actually pretty good at gigging like that. The problem is the fucking cameraman. Oh my god, zoom in on his face.
That was fucking, like, TNA has that big problem where their cameramen are so fascinated with gigging, they have to film it.
Well, actually, some of the people in that company, some of the performers actually played really off, like, clearly and awfully, too, because, like, I remember Bobby Roode did a bad one once where just this, like, slit across his head, his forehead going into the top of it.
It's almost like, you know, a Mortal Kombat fan. Oh, he took off 25% of my life in under 6 seconds. I have to gig for him now.
And let me model the blade for the camera as if I was doing a commercial for it.
Gillette razors.
Yes.
Yeah.
We only use Mach 5s here in the World Wrestling Federation.
Yeah,
okay. I just remember one thing I got to say about this match that I did not like was all the talk over and over again where, like, whenever Taker was down selling, where, like, Triple H would be yelling at him, in the match, Sean. Like, what? Just ring the bell randomly out of nowhere? How? For what? What? I mean,
they were trying to sell that Undertaker was no longer able to compete.
Yeah, but they never do that fucking finish.
But it's also,
that was like Triple H's way of, like, giving Undertaker trying to give Undertaker the respectability of being able to say, you know, maybe 19-1, but you've never been pinned.
No, yeah. Well, also that, and, like, also a slight tinge of ego where he's like, just give it to me.
Yeah, there's that too.
Victory's mine. Just the slightest. Yeah.
I can believe that, but since so much of it was, like, predicated on honor and respect, and this is sounding like the best Ring of Honor match ever. But,
yeah, really.
But no, I think that's what it was. It was a matter of trying to give him that respect.
Mm.
You know, he may not have won the match. His record may be tarnished.
Yeah.
But no one can say that they pinned him
hey, wait a minute, they did all, like, shake hands and hug afterward too. Damn.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I fucking love that. That
oh
was,
god, that was great.
I mean, we may as well talk about the fact. I mean, obviously, we went over who won.
Yeah.
The finish was a tombstone.
Spoiler: Undertaker wins at WrestleMania.
If you don't know this by now, smack yourself.
You will never know
smack
this.
yourself with it. Go find your own sledgehammer.
Or clown hammer. Clown hammer's kind of cool.
Yeah, that reminds me. Back when they used Peter Gabriel's music as the theme song for WrestleMania, I wish they'd used the Sledgehammer song for Undertaker video packages. Or not Undertaker, but Triple H.
Anyway, so yeah, after the match, there's the big respect thing, and 20-0 comes up, and then we get the Hall of Fame package.
We have Mil Mascaris and Yokozuna, survived by Keilani and Justin Anoa'i. Anoa'i? I don't know how to pronounce that. Ron Simmons, the Four Horsemen, and Mike Tyson.
Yep.
And Edge, the only guy who gets music.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, you can almost see Edge thinking, why the fuck did they bring me out after the Horsemen? This is weird.
But it was definitely...
Almost as weird as his hair.
I have to...
No kidding.
I really, really like the fact that they inducted Yokozuna into the Hall of Fame. I loved Yokozuna. Well, I hated him, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, yeah,
as a kid, go on another rant about how their Hall of Fame means,
I mean,
shit.
As a kid, like he was quite a fixture, and although like I wasn't as interested in seeing him, like he was always a good heel to me as a kid. Like, and I started to get respect for him, especially when he was teaming with Owen Hart. But
it's just a damn shame that
come on.
You know what, Jingus, let us enjoy it. But I always found it such a damn shame that how Yokozuna died of a fear-induced heart attack.
Well, I mean, look at the size of him. That guy was not going to live to be 60 years old, ever.
No, but
no, absolutely not.
Still, quite a way to go is a fear-induced heart attack.
To transition away from that sad little bit there.
Now to the tragedy of a minor
haircut. Back to Edge's haircut. I actually liked it just because he looked like he was Christian's brother again.
He finally caught up with this.
And he looked a lot more like Jericho for some reason.
Yeah, he did.
Something to say about Canadians with short hair?
They're all three brothers. All three of them.
Oh, Christian and Jericho managed by Edge.
Now, wait a minute. If Gangrel cut his hair...
Oh my god, the new...
No. If Test came back from the dead and cut his...
Oh!
He did cut his hair.
We have a list of every single horrible joke that we could possibly think of. Hey,
how is that a horrible joke?
Awesome, why not?
If Gangrel came back and cut his hair, I'd tape razors to my fists and punch myself in the face.
Gangrel's back.
That sounds like one of those deathmatch things, like the type deathmatch or something.
Yeah, if Mike Awesome came back from the dead, what do you think Joey Styles would say to him?
Sorry for that statement I made in that match at One Night Stand. That was kind of bad in hindsight.
Well, Joey is also a little crazy at times and rather super conservative, so he might say, well, as a thoroughly devout Catholic, what was hell like?
Ooh.
Have you seen some of Joey's fucking tweets? He is a weird guy.
Yeah, he is a weird guy.
I never.
You want to hit me with the weird joke, the bad joke accusation? Jesus, man.
I mean, this is the guy who decides, I'm just gonna knock out Bradshaw.
Which is awesome.
No, he didn't just decide to. Bradshaw was.
Oh yeah, Bradshaw had it coming by all accounts,
and everyone thought it was fucking awesome. Even Bradshaw.
So much that Bradshaw just looked at him and...
That Joey Styles, this hardcore Catholic, conservative Catholic, was around ECW when they did the fucking crucifixion angle.
Yeah, well, they made Raven apologize for that.
Yeah, they made Raven apologize.
He's like, I didn't know about it.
Hey, that's only because it offended a really good Christian soldier named Kurt Angle.
Could you imagine Kurt Angle?
God-fearing man right there.
Yeah. He dots his I's and crosses his T's when he sins.
It's not a sin if you have adultery with a chick from a different race.
It's not a sin if somebody hacks your Twitter.
It's not a sin if you're just really pilled up.
It's not a sin if you're racist. What? What?
Well, wait. You know, he can't sin anymore. He made Jesus tap. Jesus is way too afraid to do anything to Kurt Angle.
No, he just said he wanted to make Jesus tap. He never actually got to.
Oh, yeah, that fuck. We got to stop making fun of Kurt Angle now. I forgot that promo. He is the greatest ever.
You know who I don't like? The black people.
Well, you are Canadian.
He doesn't know what they are. He thinks Hollywood made them up.
Team Laurinaitis and Team Long.
Oh, no, wait a minute. We had Heath Slater backstage getting punked the fuck out by some rapper.
Wait, I got one more. Revolver Man didn't know Wild Wild West was a sci-fi until he saw a black guy casting the lead.
Yeah, up here in Canada, Will Smith is just an urban legend.
He saw the bit where the one guy was dressed as the fur trapper and goes, "Hang me!" and goes, "Yep, this is historically accurate."
What was that?
I don't know.
People are doing run-ins on this show, and I don't blame them by this point, but anyway, we have Heath Slater being punked out by a rapper, and Kurt Hawkins and Tyler X just standing there and also being punked out by a rapper and doing nothing. Way to make your superstars look like badasses, WWE.
Yeah. Way to go.
And,
You see why I wanted to skip that?
Yeah, at least when Edge and Christian interacted with a rapper, they put him in a trash can.
And then beat him up with hockey sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I don't like this celebrity fucking worship where they're just like, anytime one of our guys is around a celebrity, the celebrity has to physically dominate them. How much did that happen during the fucking guest GM shit?
Just wait until the Three Stooges show up.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know how Will Sasso got the shit kicked out of him in Bret Hart in WCW? He's back for revenge, and he's gonna get it.
I won't be watching. Anyway, we've got this 12-man tag, and wow, it sucked.
Yeah, I don't think... I think I was still bitter about Daniel Bryan, and having realized that Triple H and Undertaker were over and this match was on, couldn't really say paid too much attention to it. There may have been some like fun spots, like certainly the ending sequence where they do all their finishes. But
like last minute. Well, no, not the last. The penultimate minute, next to last. That was cool. I mean, the match officially was Miz, Mark Henry, McIntyre, Swagger, Ziggler, and Otunga on Team Johnny versus King Kofi, Khali, R-Truth, Ryder, Booker, and Santino on Team Teddy.
Pretty much everyone that wasn't worth having their own match on the show, but was worth enough not to get punked out by Flo Rida.
Yeah, so we got this instead of Money in the Bank. Thanks.
Well, we didn't get Money in the Bank because Wade Barrett was slated to win it. He got injured.
Thanks a lot, Wade Barrett. Way to just fuck everything up.
Yeah. God. Your pain and injury and muscle tendons tearing hurt us so much more.
Yeah, maybe we should just name you Wade Anderson.
Holy
no.
That makes me think of Arn Anderson. That's not right.
Okay, Wade Kennedy then.
Keep in mind, Wade Barrett injured himself, not other people.
Yes.
Wade screwed Wade.
Kennedy does both. So.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right about that.
Yeah. He's a
I would love it if he like someone like was like giving him shit about, you know, costing him the Money in the Bank ladder match being at WrestleMania, and he goes, "I didn't cost you the Money in the Bank ladder match. The Money in the Bank ladder match cost you the Money in the Bank ladder match." That got a little bit more reaction than I thought it would.
Couldn't we have taken out, like, you know, Henry, and Otunga, and Khali, and
actually Otunga
Money in the Bank.
Otunga's been pretty good leading up into this match.
I
didn't have a bigger part.
He's got a good character now. Still a shitty wrestler.
He's getting better, especially when you put him with the right person.
But, I mean, so much of this match it never got out of second gear. Half of it was this long heat segment on Booker T. And Booker just looks like he does all of the same old spots as before, but, like, at 1/4 speed. And it seems like half the time he can his limbs up. And
I honestly, I would have taken either Jack Swagger or Mark Henry out and Dolph Ziggler out of Team Johnny. And that's just I want to see Dolph Ziggler in his own match.
Yeah. Ziggler gave me my favorite part of the match off that fucking monkey flip bump that he took.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to turn an extra 270 degrees. Woo!
Dolph Ziggler, yeah.
And I would have taken Great Khali and Booker T out on the face.
Well, honestly, these days I see more people bumping quite hard out of the monkey flip. It used to just be like a transition roll, at least the way like RVD would do it and his opponent would take it. Yeah. But nowadays, and especially with someone like Dolph Ziggler, you're gonna get people like actually slamming on the mat from it, like really bumping.
Dolph is bringing back all the moves from the '80s. Have you noticed?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, getting over the fucking sleeper hold.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore, unfortunately. I mean, I love him to love.
Still, everything Dolph does is great, but still, this match up until they got to like the running around, everybody hitting finishers willy nilly. Up till then, it was crap.
Well, I
mean, we couldn't have done like a lot of comedy or a lot of brawling.
I absolutely love the triple suicide dive to the outside.
Yeah, when they first threw Hornswoggle, apparently as a distraction. Fuck you, take one for the team!
That was actually kind of funny. They did that. I'm like, yes. Wait, what the fuck did you expect that to do? Oh, okay. But Mark Henry, the first man on WrestleMania to toss a midget.
Bradshaw did one time. Didn't he, when he fought Finlay? And it was the whole Finlay was...
Okay.
Hornswoggle's father deal coming out of that whole paternity suit bullshit that went on forever.
Okay.
2008 or 2009.
Well, that was another thing.
Good thing I wasn't watching it around then.
You missed nothing.
We'll have to get footage of this to
Except
verify.
For Bradshaw occasionally beating up Hornswoggle.
Well, the thing was, that was another thing Anderson fucked up, was the paternity thing.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
It went from probably the biggest push he could possibly get into his life to comedy with Hornswoggle.
Wait, no. That wasn't according to him. Like, I mean, I don't think if like he's lying to make himself look better. I don't think
is he talking?
He's really that reliable. But he said he basically said Stephanie. He was like, oh, did you read like? Go around the internet, read like everyone thinks that it's gonna be you, and like he's like we're gonna go in that direction until we just bait and switch him.
Well, I mean, Kennedy's word is about as reliable as a cotton candy condom, so.
I never have taken steroids in my life.
Anyway, I know we're trying to avoid this match, but the fucking finish here, God, this is bad. I mean, so can anyone explain to me why the babyface team had heel Eve, who was evil super bitch heel in the earlier match with them, and like expected her to be cool?
Because fucking goddamn Broski guy, I can't even remember his name.
Ryder.
Yeah, Ryder. He's a dumbass. That's what he's booked as. He's booked as
booked as being dumber than Sting ever was. Congratulations.
Yeah, I think though with the body language that the other people were showing towards Eve, they're like, "Why are you here?" They did not want her there.
Didn't they do a big angle with her a few weeks back where like it was revealed she was trying to get with John Cena just to gold dig him?
Yeah, like they did a slut
publicly and obviously.
Which our co-host duos could cover far better than any of us. And then
she co-hosted. She covered it pretty well.
Yeah, she covered it incredibly well. Go find that if you want to hear about it. And then Ryder took her back.
Yeah, which.
Like seriously, like that's like you said, that's worse than Sting. I don't think
it's just like, hey Sting, you know Flair's gonna turn on you, right?
Oh.
I mean, this is only the 4th time now.
Yeah, and with what they're doing with TNA these days, putting it.
Hey guys,
instant she gets in the ring.
Just so you know, guys, so you know, Kane's gonna mellow out and he's gonna turn again.
Yeah, and it's like, and of everybody on his team, did Ryder really need to do this job?
No.
Kali.
Booker. Thank you. Like, why the fuck wasn't Kali the one getting like? Ryder was over. WWE decided that Ryder should not be over anymore, I guess.
Okay, and I like the fact that they're like, well, fuck Miz, we know this is a pretty goddamn big demotion from main eventing last year, so you can get the pin.
But hey, let's pin the only guy that has a title in this match.
Yeah, but let's pin the one guy who actually kind of matters, except for Santino.
Ziggler.
No, I mean on his team.
The face
on his.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, who the fuck would have cared if Khali ate, like, I don't know, the mic check or something? Mic check up.
You know what?
All this talk about
with
Kennedy.
With Khali, they could have worked it so like they each took turns distracting people out one by one as they all each went in one by one and hit their respective finishers on them, and then pinned them.
And finally, Johnny Ace sneaks in with an Ace Crusher.
Yep.
But no, we gotta.
It would have looked hilarious.
We gotta fuck over.
I mean, think about that middle image. Johnny Ace trying to give the RKO to Khali.
That would be beautiful. That like.
That
would be the botchamaniest thing ever.
They would have to they would have to have Otunga pick Johnny Ace up in order for him to reach Khali's neck. It'd be like a 2-man RKO.
They should do that. They have 4 guys hold Khali, 2 guys pick Johnny up.
Yeah.
That would be great, but no, we gotta fucking fuck over Ryder more. This is like WCW, we're punishing you for getting over, you bastard levels.
And I knew Team Johnny was winning just because this is the WWE. They love their heel authority figures, and Teddy on both shows didn't really make sense. So
I honestly think it's another case of a lot of people in the back see value in Ryder, and then 1 or 2 people, Kevin Dunn, just doesn't like a guy for some reason. He's just going out of his way to make him look like shit.
You know what? That would make sense because Kevin Dunn had the balls to turn the King of the Ring into a burying mechanism for fucking Sheamus.
He did, yeah.
I mean, that's a commitment to being an asshole. That's serious.
Yeah.
But yet he has a job for life because he has the same sense of humor as Vince McMahon.
Yeah. I think we're running a little long in this show. We should go ahead and get to the next match here, probably.
Yeah, but at least this is a nice match. It's CM Punk versus Jericho.
Yeah, this is the match of the night, in my opinion. This was really fucking good. But after the first few minutes, because they did a deal before the match where Johnny Ace came up to Punk and said, Punk, just as a gift, tonight if you get disqualified, the title goes to Chris Jericho.
You guys don't want to talk about Tori Wilson and Alex Rodriguez?
No.
What, all 2 seconds they were on camera?
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
There was Tori Wilson and Alex Rodriguez. They were there in the crowd.
There's somebody you've forgotten, and here's somebody who's overpaid. Next.
I still like how they gave Alex Rodriguez top booking over a former member of the company.
Didn't Tori Wilson leave with really bad blood?
No.
I don't know.
No, she left because she was injured. She was forced to retire.
Oh, what?
I thought she was Logan's run out when they automatically fire the Divas at 25.
No, she was about 10 years too late for that anyway.
I'm not for sure they had a Playboy Mansion rule there.
Nah.
Oh.
She took a back injury and she's just like, yeah, I the doctor's like, yeah,
fuck this. Goodbye.
I don't blame
her. An anorexic 110-pound woman taking the same bumps as 300-pound dudes might be bad for you? Thunk.
Well, I'm sure Tori Wilson was sitting down and thinking, thank God I'm not here when she saw that Melinda's fight.
Ugh.
But anyway, Chris Jericho and CM Punk.
I don't know what you're saying about women can't take the same bumps as men because it never hurt Mae Young.
Well, Mae Young is apparently fucking a demon, fucking a demon. It is a demon from hell because apparently nothing will ever slow her down.
She's a demon from adamantium, though.
I want a piece of those sluts.
Yeah. And Mae Young seems to be a real life version of the old Chinese masters in kung fu movies. It's they're 170 years old, but somehow they're tough as nails.
Yeah, they still have their facilities.
I'm 300 years old and I can still kick your ass.
In the comic Bone, if anybody ever read that indie comic, the old queen who becomes a cow herder. No one.
No.
Fucking kids. No. Anyway, Jericho versus Punk. The one thing I didn't like about this is for the first 5 minutes how Jericho kept trying to get Punk to lose his temper, because I fucking hate the angle for this about Punk's family having the substance abuse issues and Jericho.
Oh no, yeah, we went over this.
That is just tacky bullshit.
We went over this when we were talking the show to the lead up, that basically if they were even going to try to do that, then they did everything backwards and what they did on Raw the day after was a lot more brutal and would have served as
repeating the fucking angle from Jerry Lawler and Jake Roberts in 1996, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, and subsequently the Punk and Ravens thing in ROH.
The whole Punk is straight edge, but his family isn't, has been driven into the ground in the indie scene.
Yeah, they were doing that with feuds with Raven in 2002. Come on now. But
yeah, Jericho might be able.
Once they forgot about that, fucking awesome match. I mean, that suplex to the outside, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not sure if I've ever seen such a cleanly taken, such a brutal-looking example of a dude from the outside, from the inside of the ring, seriously being suplexed out over the ropes straight to the fucking floor.
Well, Chris Jericho and CM Punk know this is WrestleMania, so it's time to do all their best shit.
It was like a Hieronymus Bosch painting. It was beautiful in its brutality.
I thought it was amazing.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and I definitely got my wish out of Chris Jericho, and we got to see a lion tamer at least at one point in this match.
Yeah,
with the legs like almost wishbone apart, and the knee in his back.
Like every time he applied the hold, he did it nastier. Like the first time it was kind of
yeah.
The second time he sat on his back. Then the third time it was the straight up lion tamer.
Fucking knee straight to the head.
Doing like the world's best Roderick Strong gimmick out there with the backbreakers and.
It's just like funny with the first one though. It's like, okay, so I'm sitting there as soon as he puts it in, I'm like, okay, so Punk's gonna crawl to the rope and Jericho's gonna drag him back to the center of the ring. And everyone at the table that I was sitting at the bar watching this with me, they all just stopped and looked at me like, what the fuck? And I said, look. And that's exactly what they did. And everyone was just like, oh my god, how did you know that? I'm like,
he's a witch.
It's only been 7 minutes of a 20-minute match.
Yeah.
But Jericho's been doing the proper lion tamer a lot recently. I don't know if like WWE.
He's working with smaller guys.
Yeah, I guess that
they actually do have a lot of smaller, like more indie-ish guys.
Guys who were watching TV when Jericho was wrestling and coming up and became marks for it. So they're like, oh yeah, put me in the lion tamer.
I guess that makes more sense because I'd hate to see him try to put the lion tamer on, like, say, Triple H, especially.
Yeah, that ain't.
Oh, now I'm flashing back.
No. Yeah, we've already done that. Like after that whole thing.
Straight up, like shit. They're with my other quad.
Oh wait, I already tore that one. Fuck.
That was my third one.
Oh.
It's not a third quad. It's not a third quad at all.
Stop pulling that.
Poor Stephanie, but Tish.
You're fired.
Yeah. But so anyway, they do a lot of really cool spots, and Punk at least twice that I saw happened to just bang his head really hard. Once when he was taking some bump out of the corner, I forget once, and you could just clearly see him.
Yeah, they showed that on replay.
Yeah, I mean, and it was one of those where it's hard for him not to, just the way he was landing. It was hard for him to tuck his head correctly and not make that impact. And then again on the tope where he rammed his head right into the guardrail.
Yeah, and that guy has problems with concussions, didn't he? Didn't he split his skull open pretty early into his career?
About 50 times, probably.
Like around the early 2000s.
He actually told about how
anybody part of the early indie scene in the early 2000s would have gotten their head split open at some point.
No, he legitimately has a story where he legit split his skull, like cracked the bone all the way through to the brain, and he was told not to wrestle for some number of weeks, and he said, yeah, I gotta make bills paid. So he just went and kept going.
I mean, he was for a while he was one of those stiffer is better kind of guys. I mean, he and Chris Hero once did a 55-minute long TLC match.
Oh, they were talking about that match on Twitter. Like Punk was watching some of his old matches, trying to pick which ones he wanted on his DVD, and he was watching that one. And he was tweeting back and forth to the other people that were involved in it and that he was traveling with at the time.
Yeah.
And every time he got to a spot that was ridiculously dangerous, he goes, Jesus Christ, we were fucking stupid back then.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said,
There's like 17 different moments that could have been like instantly fatal if they'd been a half inch to the left in that match.
Yeah.
it was late 90s, early 2000s indie. That was literally all the indie scene, was psychotic bumps like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everybody in the indie scene was an ECW mark at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely everybody.
The
And that's what
fallout
they wanted to
was
do.
still pretty damn fresh, like especially when you consider that ROH was supposed to be ECW 2.0.
Yeah, well, half ECW, half Japan.
Hmm.
But anyway, so they do a bunch of stuff, and in the finishing sequence, they do some beautiful finisher reversals. I mean, like Angle versus Benoit level stuff. I mean, just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I still wish Punk would get a better hold in the Anaconda Vice. It still looks like a glorified side headlock to me. But yeah, it worked. It's over.
Huh.
And
I actually like that move quite a bit.
And the way that they did it, like earlier in the match, he had it on, and Jericho started kneeing him in the head to get out of it. And this time, he's like, he knees him in the head again, and Punk's like, "Oh crap, that again!" And he just like leans way back out of the reach of Jericho's legs. Jericho's flailing around trying to hit him, getting nowhere.
It's simple psychology like that. Like
callbacks,
He knows how to get out of his finisher. I better.
It's one of those things. Like just because you use a move once and it doesn't work, doesn't mean you can't go back to it and adjust it.
It's the kind of psychology that both like shoot and kayfabe really tells you why they're main eventers. Like in a kayfabe idea, they've gone through a lot of shit, but they have the wherewithal enough to like remember, oh, he was kneeing me in the head before, so I'm gonna apply the Anaconda Vice away.
There was. Well, I wish Punk would have sold the back a tiny bit more.
Yeah,
just a tiny bit. I mean, he did some, but it didn't feel like the back was like really a weak point.
Well, I agree. Like Jericho busted out the full-on lion tamer. That should have been like, oh god, you almost broke my spine levels.
I mean, Punk was selling his back a hell of a lot more the next night. but now, admittedly, that might have been less selling. And oh god, why did I take that fucking suplex? Oh, that's still tender. Oh god.
Well, but yeah, I've often found that's quite true of after any WrestleMania, where all the adrenaline's wearing off and all the real entries start popping up. Everybody's more selling on the show afterwards. But you know what? Great match. CM Punk wins, making Jericho tap, which I think was the proper thing to do.
And after which Jericho rubs Punk's head in a very symbolic moment.
That, but literally and figuratively, Punk got the rub from Jericho tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what else could we really say?
Well, here's what we could say. More rappers are coming out.
No!
We got P. Diddy, Sean Diddy.
Shut up, we're skipping it.
All right. That means we get Brodus Clay coming up.
Shut up, we're skipping it. No, wait, no, Brodus Clay, yeah, that's awesome.
We get Brodus Clay to come out and, we finally get Mama Clay.
Yeah. Get Mama Clay in the Bridge Club. There's not really anything we can say about this except go find a clip of it. Because it's fucking awesome. It's glorious.
Dancers in fat suits. Hip-hop dancers in fat.
Although I will say that at the expense of a legit Daniel Bryan Sheamus match, I would have rather not seen this on the show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This probably wasn't enough. Even if they did cut it, it probably would have been enough time.
Look, cut the fucking other rappers, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I totally agree, but I don't think just...
Cut it all. Cut all that shit.
And between Brodus dancing and rappers and everything, there was a solid 30 or 40 minutes in between the end of the Punk match and the beginning of the Rock match.
Yeah. But apparently The Rock is in G.I. Joe 2. Next Rise of Cobra, I guess?
Cobra rises further.
Anybody gonna go see
G.I. Joe 2, Cobra fully erect.
G.I. Joe 3, the Spitting Cobra.
Okay, at that point they have to put Santino in there as somebody in Cobra.
Oh, that's another thing too. Jingus, if you didn't know that he had a Cobra sock puppet, he's got a Spitting Cobra sock puppet too. It's got a little tube of water that he squirts.
Okay, yeah, you should see the Royal Rumble. The Cobra sock went up against Mr. Sacco. It was a brilliant spot.
I saw
it was good.
Brilliant, but like
no, actually, I think I did see a clip of that. It was pretty funny.
I saw a GIF of that had the two meeting, and then it showed that old stock footage nuclear bomb GIF of the house being blown apart.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah. Anyway, this match.
Well, I want to say one thing about the rappers, though. That the two that Puff Daddy brought out, first of all, the dude looks like he's done more heroin than every one of Sex Pistols combined.
That's what everyone... Oh.
And him and the chick together, did anybody get the sense that they were like a fucking discount store knockoff of Eminem and Dido's team up?
Yep.
That was the feeling I got, especially it's hilarious when the chick started out and it's kind of hard to hear her. She was a little soft, and it was like flipping a switch the moment she went from actually singing to when she was lip syncing. It was just such an obvious transition from one to the
I was just sitting there going, who the fuck is this dime store Rihanna? Honestly, until I saw this performance, not that I heard him and I thought this, but I just never really paid attention. I thought Flo Rida was a chick. I just had no idea. I don't listen to rap that much.
You mean Machine Gun Kelly? Yeah. No, I look at that really thin, pasty guy who looks like
I'm talking about Flo Rida. I've never seen a picture of Flo Rida. I've never seen him perform. I've never really heard any of his songs. I just know this person named Flo Rida exists somewhere.
No, yeah. And with the way Flo Rida looks, it's like he really doesn't look like the kind of guy that'd be making songs like that.
And I just thought to myself when I heard the name Flo Rida, who's this chick?
Huh.
I see him perform, and I'm like, that's not a chick at all.
But yeah, more important than Flo Rida, I'm watching Abraham Washington watching a Mark Henry match. And still wondering what the fuck Abraham... Okay, forget it.
SmackDown on now? Yeah, we got to wrap this up. All right.
Rock versus Cena. John Cena. I'm sure.
The Rock won. It sucked.
I liked it. I know I seem to be in the vast minority
here.
I liked the match.
No. Fuck you. I liked the match. I fucking hate the finish.
Well, it's like Jingus said. Anytime a celebrity comes on, they gotta put them over the wrestlers. And who is literally the biggest celebrity to be ever on WWE TV than The Rock?
I'll put it this way, short and sweet. They're bringing back Rock to do more stuff and have another match with Cena and lose there, then I guess I'm okay with this. If they're not and he's just leaving, then what the fuck?
Well, to answer Revolver Man, they had Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone.
These are
Ozzy Osbourne.
Times, though.
Damn it, Teefus. Who's the biggest one on this show?
I'm saying, man, they've had bigger stars than fucking Rock on.
Yeah, like, trust me, I'm not happy with this, but
you had Motorhead play the 1 year, for fuck's sake.
Here's some dirt sheet news for you. The alleged next year's WrestleMania main event is going to be Brock versus Rock for the title.
That's
Brock versus Rock?
Brock Lesnar versus The Rock for the WWE title.
I'd still rather have it be the.
We'll see.
I'd still rather have it be the newly christened team of Punk Brock defending their tag titles.
Punk Brock.
Just because of that name, but
I want to see DX versus Rock and Sock, damn it, because I think there's a lot of interesting things you could do with that match.
Yeah, too late.
Well, no, it's never too late for DX.
It's never too late for Mick Foley either.
No. Anyway, so yeah, because it's probably already been dissected to death in the last two shows, Rock over Cena in a complete what the fuck moment.
Although the finish was good, though.
Yeah.
It's just like after they do like some finisher kick out and then go back and forth and they do that one crazy thing where like Rock for the first time in about 15 years goes for a crossbody off the top. Rock, by the way, blown up tremendously like 10 minutes into this match, but Cena did a good job of covering that up. And they knew how to.
It was really awkward seeing Cena carry an entire match.
But I thought it worked. I mean, I thought it was one of the better matches that Cena's had in a long time.
It was. The ending just taints it for me because there's no way in hell Cena walked into that match looking weaker than The Rock. I don't care what anyone tries to tell me. And there's no excuse for not having your biggest star in history, except for Stone Cold Steve Austin, not go over a guy who has not been wrestling in a decade.
Yeah, I don't know. If they're going to put Cena over The Rock at SummerSlam or next WrestleMania, I'm fine with it. If not, what the fuck? What was the point?
Yeah.
Other than the one buy rate. Okay, you scored one great buy rate. What about next month? Well, they got Brock. They'll do okay, but still.
Well, it's just like the problem. The thing is that remember Rock versus Hogan? That was kind of well, not quite the same situation. But despite the fact that it ended up that Hogan was getting more cheers than Rock, Rock still won. And that was against fucking Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's no way they were putting Hogan over at that point, because Rock was the hometown guy. Hogan was probably still iffy in his relationship with Vince. This is the first time he'd been back there since WCW.
How many people were saying that there was no way that frickin' Cena wasn't going over The Rock over the past couple months?
Oh.
I was one of them.
Vince trusts Rock. Vince likes Rock. He didn't trust or like Hogan.
I thought he hated The Rock because The Rock...
No, because...
Well, no. What I take from all this is that, like, I mean, I think it's pointless for The Rock to win, because you don't make the money from the win, you make the money from the appearance, and they probably made it all back anyway. Yeah. I mean, if WrestleMania 27 proved anything, he doesn't have to be in a match to draw.
Although, as much as we talk about how stupid it was, like, every one of the people I watched this show with, they all wanted Rock to win. Every single one of them. Whether they were new fans, old fans, casual fans, smart fans, every one of the single person I talked to here wanted Rock to win.
This with is dumb.
A couple of them are, but not all.
No, they all are.
The problem is that, yeah, it's great The Rock won, people are happy. The problem is, it's something I've seen in wrestling a lot, there's no long-term planning anymore. It's always what's happening tomorrow. That's all that matters. Tomorrow, what will happen? We'll deal with what happens the day after tomorrow, and that's her.
No, they do plan out ahead.
I mean, that's nothing new.
They do plan out way ahead. It just gets more and more specific as time goes on, and even once they do set a plan in stone, they can still change it. And that's what happens a lot. So they do plan out ahead. They're just constantly getting. Oh wait, I got this idea.
Yeah.
And
also Vince is allegedly a senile old drug abuser who can never make up his mind.
Well, yeah, I mean,
allegedly.
That word is the best word in the English language. Allegedly.
Some people have made the claim.
Legitimately, I don't think he's abusing drugs anymore.
Yeah, but neither is Ultimate Warrior, and look at him.
Not saying anything.
Oh, bullshit, he's not abusing anything.
No.
Allegedly.
He's only abusing pain and discipline, and I can't say that with a straight face. But I will because Christopher says.
He's only abusing skronking.
Alright, I've got a viewing of Creep Show that I'm almost missing.
Come on, everyone knows Ultimate Warrior's on HGH, steroids, and Brachus blood.
Brachus blood?
Brachus blood?
Did you just pull out a Brachus reference?
As I said that, I was looking at the WrestleCrap page.
That's the only place Brachus should ever come up.
Yeah.
That's where he went. He's been chained in Warrior's rape dungeon for the past...
Oh my... Okay, we gotta end this show because we now have the rape jokes coming, and when that happens, we gotta go.
Well, we all saw that damn Christmas comic.
So, fucking
Katie Vick's been a naughty little girl.
Alright, so that was WrestleMania. Well, it was a fuck of a lot better than last year's, at least.
Did they really just include 2 Katie Vick references on one WrestleMania review?
At least Kane was on the show.
Hey. Anyway, that's it for our WrestleMania review.
The redundant edition.
Yeah. I thought it was a good show overall.
I liked it, even if we might get pulled because of some of the stuff we were saying.
Yeah, it was still entertaining. Hey.
I liked it.
We all did, although I assume that our editors will not. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a good Mania, not a great one, but that's pretty much it. And, fuck, we gotta finish with what gets more screen time than Daniel Bryan. And we gotta say...
No, because we got a new game we play around here, Jingus.
What?
What shows up more often than The Rock?
Well, that's easy. Twitter references show up more often than The Rock.
Crappy third-rate celebrity shows show up more often than The Rock.
Damn it, you kind of stole mine there.
Let's see. Like mismatched bookings for their title matches show up more than The Rock.
Time spent on things other than Daniel Bryan and Sheamus shows up more often than The Rock.
And
2 fucking WrestleManias in a row.
And with that, I am the Revolver Man.
I'm Christopher Says, and I'm Christopher Says.
I'm Teefus.
And I'm Jingus.
Yeah.
And I cut Teefus off.
Yeah, well, it was a bad joke anyway.
Good luck, and if you listen to this show, you're a true fan of the Dark Match.
Yes,
I love you.
And good.
Yeah, and you're like me, and you have to take a piss.
Exactly.
I'm in the danger
That's
zone.
Forrest Gump, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Now you know.